And now, Elizabeth Vargas and John Stossel.
Hello and welcome to 2020. On a highway after a car crash, people often stop and stare. There is fascination with sudden death, but we found it amazing that some people are so callous, so cruel, that they would go out of their way to show photos of such accidents to the victims' loved ones.
Maybe it's easier to be that cruel when you can hide your identity, and that's our starting point tonight. A collection of stories about people shattered by anonymous attacks. First, Jim Avila with a family forced to relive a nightmare again and again. It's a story that goes beyond mean.
Meet Nikki Katsouras, 18-year-old high school graduate.
I'm gonna miss running around campus with the camera in my hand.
Ironically, it was a camera that would memorialize Nikki's life, and more importantly, her death, in a way she would never want to be remembered, as a gruesome, macabre joke on the internet. It all started with a typical fight between parents and teenager. Nikki got caught sneaking a cigarette in the house.
Nikki broke a house rule, and we had a disagreement, and I took her car keys away.
Her father, Christos, had no idea the next day, Halloween, would be the last time he would ever see the little girl he called Angel alive.
As I was walking out the door, I kind of winked and blew her a kiss, and she winked back and flipped me a peace sign. I said, bye, see you at 2:30, love you. She said, love you, bye.
Then Nikki did something totally out of character. She took the keys to her father's Porsche, something she had never done before. This is the model car Nikki was driving, a Porsche 911 Carrera. It's fast, 0 to 60 in less than 5 seconds. She was going 100 miles per hour, even though it was the first time she had driven the car. She clipped another car, went across the lanes, over the median, and into the toll booth. She never had a chance. The carnage left behind a crumpled sports car and a young woman too damaged to recognize. A horrendous accident her family was told they should never see.
She was decapitated in the accident, and there are photographs of the decapitation.
Her head was more or less cut in two and sort of cleaved and then smashed. It was nothing that anyone should ever have to see.
Love is how you stay alive even after you're gone.
That's beautiful, huh?
But as the Katsouras family grieved for their daughter, they were rocked with a new tragedy, nearly as cruel as the first. Crime scene photos showing Nikki's mutilated body suddenly viral on the internet. Shot so graphic we can't show you the ones that depict Nikki's death.
They didn't even let me see my daughter, and now the whole world is seeing my daughter.
Fake memorials to Nikki began to spring up, Trojan horses of terror, like this one, which looks like a tribute, then without warning, cuts to those pictures from the crash. And it got worse. Out of nowhere, taunting, sadistic emails were sent to the family, like a dagger in a fresh wound, carrying explicit crime scene photos. Just weeks after Nikki's death, her father, a realtor, was baited into opening an email disguised as new business.
It said, you have a lead from homegain.com.
So that's something a real estate agent would open up?
Correct. I clicked it, and it said, dead girl walking. Ooh, Daddy, I'm alive.
His family was shocked as a cyber assault was launched on them by people they could not trace, who wrote cruel things like, what a waste of a Porsche, and her face broke. So mean, Nikki's sisters are banned from the internet. Danielle left high school to be homeschooled.
There was threats that people were going to put the pictures on my locker, in my locker. I remember her in such a great way. I don't want to see it and have that image stuck in my head.
Everybody I know has either seen them or they know someone that's seen them.
It made me sick to my stomach, and then I was trying to just go through my head, why would somebody want to do that?
Why indeed? Who does this stuff? The family hired this man, Michael Furtick, to help find out and get the photos off the web. His company, Reputation Defender, for more than a year now, has been tracking exploitive websites one by one.
It's been hard, especially in this case, because when they appear in one place, they quickly get linked to or proliferated or copied or mirrored elsewhere. They proliferate and spread like a virus or a kind of cancer.
Why are they so popular? Precisely because they were so repugnant, so shocking. The pictures seemed to strike a nerve on the dark side of human nature, festering on the net, on websites you probably didn't know exist, sites that cater to a cult of the fetish, car crash forums, sites featuring gruesome, macabre death scenes. Nikki had become a star in this bizarre underworld, at one point on 1,600 websites in 50 countries, laced with cruel comments about the Porsche girl, the spoiled little brat who's not so pretty anymore.
We've been persistent enough in chasing him down and following up and say, look, human to human, person to person, this is just egregious. They say, you know what, you're right, we'll take him down.
But they cannot get them all. Several websites, including this one, have refused to remove the photos, citing constitutional protections.
We've asked them to please take down the pictures, and they've said, no, I don't have to because I've got my First Amendment rights. But we have rights.
Here's a guy who uses the First Amendment to trade in macabre images of all kinds. 2 years ago, Chris Wilson, who runs a website specializing in grotesque death images, was arrested and charged with obscenity after posting pictures of fresh war dead from Afghanistan and Iraq. Those charges were eventually dismissed. But now he's featuring Nikki's car crash photos, and he's refused to pull them off. Although after 2020 contacted him, his lawyer told us he will take them down if the family contacts him directly.
The test for us is not whether this picture can be up on the web. It's whether it's in anyone's interest to be up on the web.
But the family says it's in no one's interest to publish these pictures, especially the police who first took them.
Who do you blame for what's happened here?
California Highway Patrol.
Plain and simple.
100%. There were crime scene pictures that never, ever should have gone out, and they did.
Incredibly, the viral spread of Nikki's mutilated body began with the explicit pictures taken and then distributed not by anonymous ghouls on the internet, but by the California Highway Patrol. The family filed a lawsuit blaming 2 CHP dispatchers for allegedly beginning the email trail. Keith Bremer is the Katsouris family attorney.
I think that the officers that were out at the scene saw the ghoulish nature of what had occurred and then wanted to share them with somebody outside the police department and emailed them to say, hey, take a look at this.
One of those dispatchers, named in the lawsuit, Thomas O'Donnell, was suspended, he says, after only emailing the photos to his home. But he also told us that these kind of pictures are a tradition in the Highway Patrol, distributed outside the department for educational purposes, like in this trade magazine, The Old Highway Patrolman. Rex Paris is O'Donnell's attorney.
They have been distributing these photographs to the public for over 70 years.
To scare people into driving safely.
I don't know if scare is the word you want to use. I think perhaps it's to make certain you understand the catastrophic consequences of not driving responsibly.
It's not about how stupid and irresponsible Nikki was. It's more about how stupid and irresponsible the California Highway Patrol were.
The California Highway Patrol refused our request for an interview and has never apologized to Nikki's family, instead only acknowledging that a CHP employee did violate departmental policy. Not enough for the Katsouris family.
So when I'm lying on bed, thoughts running through my head.
On the first anniversary of Nikki's death, frustrated by the fact that they still can't get those gruesome pictures off the web, the family cut together a video tribute of their own, with their pictures of Nikki, to the song Angels, which, remember, is what her father always called her.
I feel like no one really realized she was a person, and in a sick way got really entertained by this photograph and keep harming others by putting it up.
And as long as there are people who traffic in the macabre, this family will always fear that next click and these 3 frightening words.
You've got mail.
When 2020 returns, she met him online.